Yo, come check out the Who's the Greatest You can find us at the like and subscribe to the tell your people about the much love from the How you doing, Mr. C?
Doing good, man. Doing real good. Just hanging out in the backyard. Kids are over at my mother's house. They don't have school tomorrow, so they're gonna hang out at my parents' house tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah, Sean starts back tomorrow. I don't know.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, I don't know why the difference between your guys' county and ours.
Sarasota.
Yeah, I start back tomorrow for school too. Fucking bummer, bro. Real bummer.
Yeah.
I was trying to talk myself out of it, but I didn't make it. It just didn't make it, you know. The last 2 semesters, I really made it a point where it was like, nah, you deserve the time off, and then finally, like, my brain got to me where it's like, no, you don't deserve the time off. Get back to it, bum. You know. You haven't earned it.
Get back to it, dude. What are you doing? Finish.
Yeah. Yep. Man, I haven't done this in a while.
What are you doing?
I haven't done this in a while.
Yeah.
The podcast. It's been a minute. It's nice to have you, though.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
I do have a list of stuff to bring up. I got some old stuff. I got some new stuff. I just wrote some shit just to make sure we had some stuff. But I'll go through my old stuff. I had like a list of questions for guests whenever they were on. So my first question would be, I feel like you're like a rap fan, right? What are your top 5 rap artists?
MC.
Oh, geez. Well, I mean, outside of like your typical Tupac, Biggie, stuff like that, I'm assuming.
No, you can do whatever you listen to. Whatever your top. Who do you hold as the top?
Dude, obviously Tupac, Biggie, old Jay-Z from back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I've been so out of touch with hip hop for so long.
It's okay.
I listen to a lot of podcasts now, man.
Okay, what's your top 5 podcast then? There you go.
Oh no, not podcast per se. It's a lot of crypto stuff.
Now you're just moving the needle. It's like you don't want to put them on blast. Who are your top 5?
Well, no, because they're not actually podcasts. It's more like YouTube videos that I listen to, like I do podcasts.
Gotcha,
you know what I mean? Like I would a podcast.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it's not really. It's just a bunch of like I've been so deep into crypto for like the past couple years. Been learning a lot about different projects and stuff like that.
How did it feel when everything dropped down? Are you one of the believers where that doesn't matter, or was that like?
Oh yeah. No, that doesn't matter. That means nothing. All that means to me is that the industry is weeding out the stuff that needs to be weeded out. Kind of like when the internet first came around.
What do you think about the FTX stuff?
That's just good old fashioned fraud, man. Just old school taking money from Peter to pay Paul. You know, that's all that was. It was just people screwing people over.
But how is
good old fashioned fraud?
How is it that amount of money gets played with where it could be fraud? Like, how does it not get caught before then? That's a lot of money to.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah.
A lot of it has to do with the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission.
Which they're not
a lot
under,
of politics,
right? Because it's crypto-based stuff, or they're still under the SEC.
Well, kind of. So Sam Bankman-Fried, or SBF, as everybody knows, SBF, was going to
who is out on
Congress,
bail.
And
who is out on bail.
Yeah, who is out on bail. Yeah, and what's ridiculous is that, check this out, it's a $250 million bail, right? But He didn't have the 250 mil. They needed to come up with 10%, which is 25 mil, right? So his parents put up their house in California, which is worth $4 million. He still had another 21 million to go, and there were two other parties that put their name down and put up collateral for him to get out. Those two people are completely anonymous. They actually put motions in to maintain their anonymity, and nobody knows. And people have been speculating left and right that it's somebody in Congress, or maybe like somebody like Kevin O'Leary, or something like that put up that money. But there's no real way to find out because it's been sealed.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah, yeah.
nobody really knows. But it's still fishy, man. It's real fishy.
It's odd.
You know this guy's a crook. You know this guy
So
stole
why would you put up money to
billions of
get him out?
dollars.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's probably hush money. You know what I
And
mean? Like,
unless
hey,
you're hoping,
give him
yeah,
this shit.
okay, okay, fair enough. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's all, and again, all speculation. Nobody actually knows,
All right, from one
except
thing
for the
that we
people
don't know
involved.
about to another, do you think Tory Lanez actually shot Megan the Stallion? Or do you even know?
What?
You know nothing about it? Okay, moving on, moving on.
Shot making a style. I have no idea what
It's okay. Do you ever this might not apply to you. You ever watch anime? Do you know anime? Nothing about anime?
Not really. My daughter's super into anime, and she does all sorts of drawings and stuff like that. She's into manga. She reads the books that are backwards. I don't
Gotcha,
know.
gotcha.
She's into it.
Okay, here's a good one for you. Who was your childhood hero?
Ooh, childhood hero.
Yes, sir.
Oh my god. Are we talking about just in general?
It could be at any point in your life. It could be when you were really young and just something like kind of miraculous and like, almost otherworldly, or it could be like legitimately like a person that you just looked up to that inspired you. However you take it.
Well, Mr. D is definitely up there.
Yes,
He's
sir.
a real. I mean, outside of my dad, you know what I mean. My dad was always that one guy who was the rock. You know what I mean.
Yes,
He
sir.
was immovable. He was the guy who provided no matter what. He did what he had to do to support the family, and like that's over the top. Mr. D, but that's like my dad. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah, yeah,
who he
yeah.
should be to me. But Mr. D was definitely way up there on the list. He really
Shout out to
helped
Mr.
me
D.
grow. Yeah, man. R.I.P. brother.
Yes, sir.
But he's definitely up on that list. Good man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, wow, that was good. That was good, man. Mr. D. Yeah, damn. Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Who uh
yeah, man.
who is your favorite cartoon character?
Cartoon.
Character.
Oh, jeez, dude, so many.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Um, Foghorn Leghorn, Yosemite Sam.
Oh, you're going back.
Uh,
You- I
yeah,
forgot
man.
you're old. My bad. Okay.
Yeah, man. I'm old, brother.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Old school Looney Tunes, man.
There was
Coyote and the Roadrunner.
there was a question that I had asked in our previous podcast, little stuff that I wrote down. Do you have to be a soldier in order to be a general? Or more vaguely, do you have to be led before you can lead? Do you think people have the ability to uh, enforce leadership without having been able to take orders at one point?
Um, well, I don't think they should. I'm not military. I'm not ex-military, but I do know that a leader who leads from the front is a leader who will be followed to the gates of hell. If you have leaders that have never been on the front, leaders that have never taken orders, that haven't been put in situations, I could see how a lot of their, I guess, soldiers would have questions about their tactics or their intent or whatever. But that it, I would say that somebody who's in a leader's position or is trying to become a leader should be willing to go through the ranks and make it up to that leader position. I don't think throwing somebody from, college into a battlefield is going to be an effective leader with their soldiers behind them saying, "Yes, that's the guy." But I'm not saying that they couldn't,
Right.
because I'm sure that there's been plenty of examples out
Examples.
there of men
Yeah.
who willing to go out and lay their lives down with their men who have never fired a shot in their life outside of the range.
Right.
But I think most of the time, when it comes to the respect and the honor and stuff, you're looking to a leader who's been in that situation, been
Yeah.
walking the same boots.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, this one's a little bit more silly. All right, all right. Serious question here. Are vegans allowed to have beef with meat eaters?
Beef segment.
Are vegans allowed to have beef with meat eaters?
Correct.
Uh, nice pun. I like that. Um, I mean, I guess. I don't know. I think anybody should be able to feel however they feel,
Yeah,
man.
but do they
I
have to call
guess.
it something else? Or are they allowed to call it beef? Or does it need
No,
to
they can call it beef. That's cool.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right, but there's a good question. I think it's Joe Rogan has a joke about it where he goes, "Why do they have to call it vegan chicken? Like, why don't if they don't want to eat chicken, then why do we call it vegan chicken? Why don't you call it something completely? It's not made out of chicken. We made it out of
Yeah.
whatever it is. Why do they call it the name of?
I guess maybe it's because they really do want chicken,
They
and the way
do
to trick their
so
brains
bad,
into
right?
thinking it is chicken,
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah.
It's vegan
Oh,
chicken. Keyword chicken, but no, it's not
wow,
chicken.
we're jumping around a lot here. So we had a moment, we had a moment, right, where you had posted up on online where you were like, "Yo, the hurricane had happened, and hurricane had happened in Puerto Rico, and that you guys were like loading stuff up, and you asked if anybody could help to like load the stuff up or bring stuff or anything." And for me, it was just crazy, right? And it showed me maybe first of all the impact that you guys might have had a little bit more than maybe for most. I don't know if that's just because of my own life experiences, but it's like for me, honestly, I looked at it as somebody like I know you guys go through rotating, revolving doors of like people coming in and out, right? So I would think as somebody like I look to you guys and as like inspiration or whatever it may be, right? So I just assumed when I saw that there would be like droves of people showing up to help. So it was a real shock that like I was the only person there. So
Yeah.
what do you think? Why like why is that? That's not for me to boast up what I'm doing. That's more of a question of like why do you think that you could you could donate your life right to teaching? Like I watched at least for my own X amount of time I was there. Like I watched you like work two jobs in order to. I would assume like you enjoy what you do to inspire and show these people knowledge and put them on like a path in their life. It's kind of crazy to me to see that there wasn't as many people willing to like do that even in a 1 day period. Is that something that impacts you in a way, or you don't look at it because it was more of
Um, for me, it's like I understand that people have their own lives, and people are at different points, and people have to do things that they got to do for them and their family. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't really hold any kind of hard feelings or anything like that for really anyone that wasn't able to help. You came out and you helped me out a huge deal. And by the way, I know I thanked you before, but I'm gonna thank you again,
no, no,
because
no, no.
what
That's
you
not
did,
even. This is
it
more
was it was
looking on the
literally no,
inside.
hold up. No, I know. I'm gonna get back to that. But you came out and you helped me out, and what you did was big for my personal family. The things that you did, and all the people that donated and everything. That stuff that actually went to my personal family members and close friends of ours that were in Puerto Rico stuck. literally like completely, their house is completely washed away. My family was stranded on the roof of their house for 2 days in Puerto Rico because their whole city was completely underwater. And once the waters receded and they were able to go back in, the stuff that you guys helped with, that you helped me load up and stuff, that went directly to them and it helped them out. A huge deal. So, that was awesome. But for people who weren't, into that or helping out and doing that type of thing, it's one of those things where there's so many people already helping. What am I one person gonna do?
I gotcha.
What
Okay.
can I?
Okay.
But
Yeah.
if there's, if that mentality goes with a huge population, what am I one person gonna do? Then nobody helps out, and now there's a very small group of people who are dedicated to, helping out, whatever the cause could be. Whether it's hurricanes taking out Puerto Rico or Fort Myers or wherever, or earthquake or big fire, whatever. People have that. Oh well, they've already got so much help. What can I do? You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Um. Oh, Boris. I just have to make mention of the green haired iguana. What was it? Iguana? What? Um,
iguana.
it has something to do with an iguana. But anyways, dude had a mohawk. This guy here. Okay, I show up for my first day of
Do
tech
you have a
school.
picture?
I don't have one. If you have one, if you could send it to me, that'd be phenomenal.
Hello, my name is Boris. I come to your class.
But anyways, yeah. So my first day of trade school, I come into the class and we got this guy that's like talking in this weird accent. Okay, he's got green hair, mohawk, right? He's just talking crazy shit. It's like the most flagrant. And now I'm 17, 18, however old. I'm a little flagrant myself, but this guy was off the walls. And I think it's once Mr. D comes in, all of a sudden, like all the teachers stand up in the front, and they're going, and then here comes your green-haired Boris Johnson or whatever. I don't remember what your Boris walks up to the front with the teachers and goes, "Oh, I'm one of them." It was like it was wild. It was a mind fuck for sure. It was a cool experience though, and it's a memory that you won't forget. That's for sure. That's for sure. Um,
Yeah, man. Never would have expected that, huh?
Not in the slightest, not in the slightest, but it's something like that that kind of establishes like the relationship where you go like, oh, this person cares because people don't do stuff like that in any kind of way to do anything extra on something that they don't care about, right? So it shows you a little bit for sure. Um,
Yeah, it was fun, man. The whole point was, about first impressions and all that. And
yes, yeah,
and
yeah.
you had students walked in. That was probably like my fourth or fifth year doing it, and students would walk in, and I'd have a glow in the dark green mohawk with an iguana cut out of it, so it looked like an iguana laying on top of my head, and it looked like these little
Talk
buddies,
like this,
buddies.
yes, yes, yeah,
From
uh,
Estonia, from Estonia.
yes,
But
Estonia. Of course he was.
you like iguanas? You like iguanas? Everybody in Estonia, they love iguanas.
That's hilarious.
But after shooting the breeze with the students for a little while and um, getting everybody talking and stuff, Mr. D in the middle of a conversation, and I had another student call my phone, and I answered the phone, and I gave Mr. D the hold on a second finger in the middle of his spiel. Everyone's like, "Oh my God, he's gonna die!"
Yeah, this is crazy. What is going on here? Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, that was a good time, man.
Yes,
I
sir.
always have a good time.
Yes, sir. Um. Okay, here's a good one. What do people misunderstand about you the most?
Oh God, I don't know. I don't ever really think about what people misunderstand about me.
You don't think about what
I don't
other people
know.
think about you. You don't seem like that type,
Pretty much.
honestly. Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, it's like, if you think a certain way about me, that's a you problem. You know what I mean? Like if I did something and I messed up and you know, whatever it was, if like it hurt your feelings or something, and you came to me and you're like, dude, that was really kind of messed up. Dude, I'm sorry. My bad. I have no problem apologizing and owning up to my mistakes.
Right.
Um, but if somebody's like, man, this guy's a jerk, but he never comes up and talks to me. Whatever. Keep it to yourself for all I care. Say what you got to say in your own head.
Yes, sir.
I got no problem having a decent conversation with somebody, disagreeing or agreeing, talking shit back and forth, and just having a good time. And um, if I do something or say something that is offensive, which it's probably a lot, if it offends, I got no problem apologizing to you. But if you're not going to say nothing, why am I going to worry about it?
Right. Right. All right. All right. What would you say is your biggest failure? And then what would you say is your biggest success?
Oh, Jesus. My biggest failure. Um, I've got so many.
Oh man, you can go for the
So
success.
many failures.
You could do one or the other. I wouldn't say that though. Look
Um,
at you now, Mr. C, head of the
well, I mean,
department.
no, I'm not. That's Mr. Sosa. That's Commander Sosa. That's not me. I don't
Mr.
want that one.
Sosa. I feel the
Yep,
same
Mr.
way.
Sosa.
I feel the same way. I don't want that. I don't need that stress. I don't want that stress.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways. anyways.
But
Anyways.
that's what everybody thought about Mr. D too.
I agree. I agree. I agree. And then sooner or later, after a minute, after I, found just a tiny little hair of success, Mr. D, like, kind of, we understood each other just a little bit better. Where he was like, "Oh, you're not just a
Yeah.
shithead. You're not. You're, you're, I don't care if you say voltage flows if you know what you're talking about." That was the end of our arguments. But
Yeah.
ah man,
I still
yeah.
fight people with that. But my biggest, I mean, outside of like, I don't want to say that my biggest success is keeping my kids alive, but having my kids and having them here and them being headstrong and being themselves. Like my daughter, she is so freaking headstrong, man. She's the type of chick that you're not going to get her to do something she doesn't want to do. You know what I mean? Like if peer pressure means nothing to her, she will cuss you out. Like she's strong girl, But that's like that's family thing. As far as success, I would say probably helping like the younger generations coming up, trying to kind of figure out a direction.
There
You
you're
know, even
goddamn
if
right.
it's
Yes, sir.
even if it's not
Say
even
it
if it's
again
not
for him in the
something that
back.
we're doing at school. Yeah, like I've had students come up and they say, this automotive just ain't for me. I don't like it, or I don't want to work on cars. I like to know what I'm doing, but it's like, okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with not knowing. But dude, you're 17, 18, 19 years old. You got to figure something out because you're getting to the point where you're gonna need your own independence. You need to be able to survive and maintain and keep doing what you're doing, especially when somebody's got a young family or somebody's um, in like hanging out with the wrong crowd type of thing. It's like, dude, we've got a couple of guys now who have great aspirations to become great techs at different dealerships and working on cars and stuff, and they're hanging out with a group that didn't really want that. They had their own stuff going on. They got their own shop. They got whatever, and they're just getting these dudes, late and into trouble and doing stuff like that. It's like, bro, you need to come off it because they're not going to be around forever. But my neighbor's daughter next door, she was going through some stuff, and I got a chance to talk to her, and um, she's got a lot of like anger and stuff, and but she's a younger girl. She's about my son's age, and they call me their uncle because their dad is like my brother. So they're like, Theo, I want to talk to you, blah blah blah, and they start talking to me and venting, and it's like, okay, well that's cool, but this is what's going on and whatever. I mean, just kind of talk to them a little bit and try to help guide them into a better lifestyle.
Yes, sir.
I bet I'm better at giving advice than I am taking it.
I I try that, but it comes off bad. It doesn't. It doesn't. I don't know. I don't have. I haven't learned empathy yet, or like I don't know how to.
Mm.
I can only express the very clear cut. Like if I see somebody fucking off at work, let's say, my thing isn't like, oh, let's hold your hand and explain. It's like, yo, shut up and get to work. You're not gonna make any hours otherwise. I don't have the. Oh, explain to me why. No, man, get off your phone. Put your hand on a
Yeah,
wrench and turn it. You know.
I mean, and sometimes that's exactly what people need. And, the industry that you're in is not. It's not a
It's
hand holding
fucking
industry.
rough out
It's
here,
not.
Mr. C. I think you guys need
Yeah.
at least a month of explaining to these people just how rough it is out here, man.
Well, I mean, like you know, the introduction to the automotive field is one of those. It's kind of like getting. I'm assuming because I've never been a cook or anything like that. I worked at a restaurant one time when I was like 15, but you get thrown in and it's gnarly,
Yes,
and it's
sir.
something you just got to
But the
experience.
the difference between that what we do or what you used to do and what everybody at least most everybody else does is you get guaranteed you come in and clock a fucking ticket and you leave and you clock your ticket and now I just got paid for 8 hours whether I burnt 15 orders of rice or not. I'm getting paid, right? That doesn't work like that in our field.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly. And you know what? A lot of these newcomers coming into the field and they're not used to, flat rate and stuff like
Oh
that.
man.
You can have all the excuses in the world. At the end of the day, you're not going to get a paycheck if you ain't turning the hours, period.
No, man, numbers don't lie. That's the other thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, I had a student who went to work. He actually works at Honda. So to this day, he works at Honda. He had cancer on his neck, a big old grapefruit sized lump. Oh my
Dude,
God, what happened there?
man, when we were going to school, if you remember correctly, I was riding I was at the time I was underage. So I had grandma's van kinda, but sometimes I would get a ride. So when I had the van, I would pick up Houston, if you remember Houston.
Oh my God, Houston, yeah.
Okay, so I would grab Houston when I could. Sometimes Law would come and pick us up. That was the guy
Oh
that
my God, law.
yeah, man. But anyway,
Oh
yeah.
Lord.
But anyways, so like before we knew that Law was, had some other problems, if you remember that whole
Yeah,
thing.
I remember. Yep.
I was young, dumb, and we were partying and doing our thing, right? And so I didn't know nothing about, like you're saying, hanging with the wrong people. But all after that at school, I didn't, even then I was kind of, we would just sit and do our thing. Anyways, point being is one day there was like, we were doing an in class, like we're working on cars or doing whatever it was. And then all of a sudden, Josh's battery just goes missing. And so
Yep.
you guys were like, yo, come on, man, what's up? Like, who took the fucking Like, if nobody says who took the battery, we're just gonna look it up on the camera. Like, this is dumb. What are you guys
Yep.
doing? And and he like swore up and down, no, I didn't take that battery. And this is the first time, honestly, I think as a young man, like I stuck my neck out. Where like, yo, dude told you he didn't take your battery. He didn't take it. Why are you guys accusing this man of taking your battery? I'm going to
Yeah.
bat because this is a dude that's giving me a ride. He's never done anything shitty to me. I know nothing like
Right.
you know. And of
Yep.
course, come to find out, he did take the battery. Now to
Now for a
me,
Yep.
word from our sponsors.
hello everyone. We have created a Cash App. If you would like to show monetary support in our future endeavors and creations, or just support to show that you appreciated the art that we have already created, we would appreciate it. If not, continue to enjoy our content. Thank you. Hello, Slim Chances Podcast family. There is a support button on the Anchor page where you can support us financially. Thank you.
Hey everybody, this is Double V420. Go ahead and give me a follow on Twitch. Come join our family. #1 group of supporters there are. Everybody loves everybody. Typically you can find us playing first-person shooters, but sometimes we like to take it easy and just chat. If that sounds like anything that you would like, we're always looking to add more members to the family. Major shout out to Slim Chance Podcast. aka the best mod there is.
Battery. Now to me,
Yep, he stole the battery and then threw it in the woods.
this is where the story ends until whatever X amount of time later. I go to put my thing in over at Honda. They're in the interview gun ho. They're about it. Doesn't want you here. I was like, man, like, but it was the association with the wrong people.
It went,
You know?
exactly, and that's another thing is like,
I probably gotta
yeah, that was
blurt these
messed up.
names out. I probably shouldn't have these names.
Yeah, you should probably
Yeah,
bleep some names or
yeah.
at least cut out the last name or something. But that just goes to show you that networking, man. When it comes to like when you're growing up, you don't realize how when you're young, you don't realize how this networking stuff works and how things that you're doing right now could affect your future.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think it probably worked out for the better for you.
Oh, completely.
Because you ended up, yeah, he may have screwed you over, but now, joke's on him. You're the boss. You know what I'm saying? You're a boss over there at that shop. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, he's doing well for himself over there. Don't get me wrong. But like at the same time, things just work out the way they're supposed to work out.
No,
you know what I mean?
I agree.
So,
yeah.
So while he's over there with his cancer,
don't get me wrong,
and
I fucked myself out of plenty of jobs. So yeah, no, Josh, we're cool, man. It's all good. Anyways, go ahead.
But he this is going back to excuses and turning wrenches. This man had this cancer in his neck. He'd leave work, go to his chemotherapy appointment, take a bunch of chemo, come back to work. His hair was all burnt up on the side, and his neck was plumbed out to here. I mean, it was nasty. And the man would go back to work after his chemo, drag a garbage can from car to car, so he had something to throw up in while he worked. You know what I mean? So like that's some. There's no excuse for him.
No.
If he's doing that, oh man, my back hurts. Oh, that sucks. Take some leave and get underneath that dashboard. Like you get to work.
Yeah.
It sucks, but that's how.
What do you think gives
most of life is
that second gear, and some people just I would say most people, like, I don't know. I'm in a shop of what do we have? Let's say about 12 people, and I would say 2 of us have it, or even just statistics of what we started our class. When we started our class, there was 37 people, and then I think 5 of us graduated. And you go like,
yep.
What is that? And don't get me wrong. Some people like with school, you could say, well, you just figured out that wasn't what you wanted to do. But like going to work every day and working, like do you have the ability to say, I just don't want to do that? Like you need money. We all need money,
Yeah. I mean, but when it comes to having that drive, so different people have different ways of dealing with stuff. And if you go to, for instance, if you start going to school and you're getting told you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, and you want it done this way, and if you don't, then you're going to end up failing the class type of thing. That might be something that turns somebody off. Like, no, that's not me. And then they move on. And so for them, instead of saying, hey, I'm just this whole thing isn't for me, I'm going to pursue a different route, a different avenue of doing it, then that's good on them. Recognizing that you have the option of being able to do things different ways is huge, but how you go about it is a whole nother thing. So like saying, no, this ain't for me, you can go screw yourself and blah, 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 I'm out, and just stop showing up, that's the wrong way of doing it. But having a conversation with whoever it is, instructors in this case, hey, this is what's going on, this is how I feel about it, I don't think this, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to peace out. Thanks you for everything anyway. Have a good one. See you later. Bye. You leave on good terms, kind of like putting in 2 weeks or whatever. There's a right way and a wrong way of going about it. And sometimes people's emotions get the best of them, and they go about it the wrong way. And I don't fault people for doing that as long as they learn from it and move forward. But you always got those people who are like, no way, screw you, blah blah blah. And next thing you know, 2 weeks later, you're reading the paper that they're in prison.
And that's the only problem I
So,
have with the like. Yes, it's good and awesome to have the ability to decide like I don't want to do this, and then like make the conscious decision to like even if you cut it out the right way and go like I don't, you approach the proper channels and go I don't want to do this, and you quit properly. There's still strength though in like sticking. I've done a lot of things that I didn't particularly want to do, and in the
oh yeah,
long run like it's been good. So it's like
oh yeah,
sometimes
no, for
there's
sure.
strength in sticking it out and getting through the times that you didn't want to be a part of, so
Oh yeah, no, man, for sure. Because when it comes down to it, you're not going to be able to just stop doing whatever it is that you don't want to be doing,
yeah,
and just switch to something else and be able to provide. Because you have to be able to provide first and foremost, in order for you to be able to move on. Like it, working at a shop for a long time, and then being laid off, and then searching around for something and finding something that is completely out of your comfort zone, but is going to pay your bills, and you take the job and you keep moving on it, and then you apply everything you have into that position, and you just you do well,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden you're like, what, this really ain't for me, and then you switch again. Like for me, that happened. I worked at a shop. I got laid off. I found another job, and I worked at that job for like 4 or 5 years. Did really well, and it's like the same for me. And I left, and I found a teaching position at the school, and that's how I started teaching. Actually, it was actually kind of an accident that ended up in automotive, as far as teaching goes, because I applied from when I started searching for a job, there wasn't one available in automotive at the time. So I applied for a teacher's aide position, in the welding program, and one of the ladies that was there during the interview, because there was like 6 people at the interview, and one of them said, "You used to come to school here. You know Mr. Danoon, right?" I was like, "Yeah, of course." She said, "Well, we're gonna talk to him real quick, and we'll let you know what's up." So they let me know later on, after the interview, like, "Hey, listen, so this was kind of a formality interview, but we ended up hiring somebody else who's got welding experience." And I said, "I totally understand." They said, "Fine, you have automotive background. Go down to Mr. Danoon and go speak to him real quick." So I walked down there and I sat down and talked to him for a little bit, and he offered me a position. Like, "Hey, if you want a job here, we definitely need you." Because at that time it was just him and Mr. Nanny, and there was 112, 115 students. So they were like, "We need somebody." So that's how I ended up working at the school.
how's Mr. Nanny doing?
He's doing good, man. He's doing good. He last I talked to him was right before Christmas break. He actually came up to hang out with us, because how we do on Christmas break. We watch Christmas Vacation, and we grill some burgers and hot dogs and stuff, and did that. So he came up and we hung out for a little while and we talked. He has a cabin down south there on the beach, and I guess the hurricane messed it up pretty good, blew out all the windows. So he had been going down there and fixing it up and putting new windows in and all that stuff. So, but him and his wife are doing pretty good.
If you don't know how it works, you can't fix it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, dude, if Nanny can't fix it, it's broke.
Well, that too.
Like, it's really broke.
That too. We're coming. We're getting there. We're close. We're close. If you need to leave, let me know.
Good, man. I'm
If
chilling.
if you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
Oh God, do I even want to be remembered? Are you talking about by like my family or friends or like society?
Whatever you want. You gotta leave it open, right?
Well, yeah, I guess. But I mean, I guess like just for being a
It
good person,
it does
plain and
change though
simple.
per thing though, doesn't it? A little bit.
Yeah, because I don't want to. I don't mind not being remembered by like society. I don't need to make a dent in the universe. You know what I mean? I don't need to be
Didn't it
some
make you
kind of
feel
crazy
good?
big thing.
Didn't it make you feel good to
It,
see the impact of Mr. D at his funeral with the amount of people
right?
that?
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure. But that's people who he made an impact on personally on a one to one basis, like
Yeah,
friends and family and
yeah.
students. That's what I would want to be remembered for by the people I would want to be remembered for. I don't not so much
I'm up there talking.
this guy deserves a statue.
I'm up there talking at your funeral, son. We're going on, boy. We're putting on a show.
Dude, I told all my friends and all my family that at my funeral I want it to be a roast and I want it to be a party. I want people up there
Yes,
at the
sir.
podium talking shit. Oh man, I bet you if you open up this casket, I bet you it smell like potato wedges and chicken strips in here. I bet you. Stuff like that. Yeah, fat guy, blah, blah, like, dude, I want fun. I want laughter. People telling stories, talking shit. Like, I don't want people to be sad when I'm dead.
Yes, sir.
Like, I don't know, man. It's a good time, having so many people around that I've had some sort of, I don't want to say necessarily impact on their life, but some sort of
Nah, that's what it is, son. Say the word that
communication.
it is. Yeah, it's impact.
Like, I don't know, man. It's just that I think that people having a good time is top priority, and death is just a part of life. And yeah, it could be a little sad sometimes, but you're gonna miss them and all that. But remembering somebody after they're gone for all the fun stuff, all the good times, all that is what lives on forever, man. Legendary status.
Yes, sir.
But
Okay, if you could give your 18-year-old self a piece of advice, what would it be?
stop spending your money, dipshit.
What if you have the money to
That would
spend
be
though? You know what I mean? What?
No, that's the thing, though. You could. I think I've said this to almost to every single class that I've had since I started teaching. If I could go back and talk to myself at 16, 17, 18 years old, I would say listen to what your parents are telling you because they were right. Like the older people in your life they know what's up, and it's freaking ridiculous that as a young guy I thought I knew better, and I just wanted to have fun because guess what? I can't take this with me. This money isn't going to be around when I'm dead. If I die tomorrow, I'm not going to.
But then
But
you
if
don't
I
die as
if
quick
I
as
didn't
you
have
think
that
you're going
mentality,
to.
what's
I
that?
said then you don't die as quick as you think you're going to when you're
Yeah,
17.
exactly,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. So I'm, if I would have saved all of my money and not spent it on dumb shit, like I'm not saying, oh, be a hermit, don't ever go do anything or anything like that, but I'm talking, dude, I was, wanting to buy rims and wanting to buy speakers and wanting to buy stuff for my car, and I wanted to, buy the best shoes and buy the best clothes and the hats and the watches and the bracelets and the earrings and all this and that. And it's like, dude, if I wouldn't have spent all that money, I could have saved all that money, invested some of it, and used the other. I could have paid cash for my first house at 21 years old. But no, instead of that, I lived with my parents until I was about 22, 23 years old. I ended up, moving out at 22 with my wife and all that. But, having the money to be able to say, boom, here's cash. I don't have a mortgage payment. Not having a mortgage payment would be so good. Dude, screw mortgage payments. Adulting sucks. Because of that, you have to get up and go do the job that you don't want to do. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I do know exactly what you. I do know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know that. Yeah, yeah. Um, I'm gonna skip that one. Okay, I'll give you examples. Does polarization always lead to inevitable implosion? This, in regards to, I would say the two main ones recently would be Kanye. So Kanye's always been like a revolutionary, like polarizing type of person, but then it's like slowly, and now like we could take the mental health out of it because I'm sure there's like some crazy shit, like legitimate like issues that he has. But just the spiral of polarization, like it made him into a quote unquote billionaire on paper, and then but it also just as quickly lost him that notoriety and wealth because now he's like so toxic that nobody even wants to be around him. The second person that I would use as an example would be Elon Musk. Elon Musk used X amount of like polarization as far as like certain little things that put him in the light and made him like a certain being. But then there's something about like the choice to like, I need to change free speech and buy the Twitter platform that's now, as somebody that has stock in Tesla, has cost me money, right? So has slowly cost him billions of dollars, lost his status as top earner, although that's really the Saudis like that don't report their wealth. But um so do you think that do you think you can be polarizing without it ending in catastrophe, let's say, or just a loss, a large
Um,
loss?
I honestly, I think I I can't really speak to Kanye. I don't really follow a whole lot of that type of news and all that stuff, but I can say that when it comes to like, especially when you're talking about rich, like very elite, high valued valuation people, I think a lot of times they've done so much throughout their life and they've earned so much that sometimes they might just get a little bored and they want to just throw a little shit in the fan, stir the pot up a little bit just to mess with
Okay.
people.
Okay.
And kind of like a troll, almost like trolling a little bit. I know Elon Musk likes to troll a lot of people,
Yeah.
and he. I think a lot of these like elites do get bored, and they want to see how much power. And honestly, and this is all speculative, and I'm just throwing ideas out there that maybe some of these super rich families are, kind of like when people are showing off, like, oh, look at my new shoes, look at how much money I got a gold grill and diamonds. They're showing out on the low level. That's how people show out. They flaunt their success that way. But when you get to the upper echelons of society, people show off their wealth and their power by doing things that sway public opinion in one direction or the other. And they're like, oh, yeah, well, look what they're going to believe now. Bam, throw it all over the news networks.
Any
And
press is
now,
good
oh,
press.
everybody, the what?
Any press is good press.
Yeah, but I mean, like they're like, oh, the Walmart family. You think you guys got clout? Watch this, and then they're like, okay, freaking Dogecoin. Elon Musk gets on there and starts talking about Dogecoin. Look at how I made Dogecoin go from 0.005 to 85 cents, and then I'm gonna say, oh yeah, Dogecoin's great, and then dump the market. The market just dumps. Stuff like that. They're like, look, I made millions of people lose a bunch of money. Funny, huh? Ha ha ha. Now let's see what
Right.
you do. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, global pandemic.
Right.
But I don't know, man. That's just as far as all that stuff goes, man. I try not to pay too much attention to that kind of stuff because I get angry, man.
Do you? Okay. I look at things, so it's funny because I don't particularly how do I put it? Like I don't care what either one of them are doing personally, but I do like
Mhm.
to look at concepts. So like in this case, right? I'm not as much focused on the particular person as much as like the concept of like superstardom, if that's what you want to call it in a sense, to then like I said, some sort of implosion, the way that like just weird like ways that things work out in life and how and why people do what they do. And I don't know, I should have been a therapist or something in another life. um what
You
else
still
was
could be.
Yeah, I know, yeah, kind of, but they don't. The problem is that's another thing, right? Do you think you work yourself into a hole? Like I'm at a point now where anything that I do is taking a loss to then start over for like even okay, let's say even therapists, like no matter high end, I'm not gonna make what I make now. And I'm not at my cap yet. So it's um I don't know. There's like I'm at a point now where if I made the choice, I would have to make a conscious decision to take a loss to do
Yeah,
to do anything else.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess it really depends on where your heart is. You know what I mean? Like if your heart's not in what you're doing, and you have to go to work and you have to be there doing stuff that you don't want to do just because you're making a bunch of money at it. If that's not something that you want to do anymore, then maybe taking a loss will be worth it. Because in the end, you know, you started off making what, 10, $12 an hour. You know what I mean? And now you're making a whole lot, way more now. And that took you what, 5 years? You know what I mean? 6 years? It wasn't even that long. So yeah, you might have to take a loss and start over or whatever, and that goes for really anybody. But like I've been looking into doing getting my getting my drone license, my commercial drone pilot's license, and starting a separate business to do drones. But I got to take the time and take get the initiative to move forward on that. You know, I have to take some classes, I got to take a test, and I got to spend hours doing this stuff. And then I got to make the investment of buying, a couple of different drones and doing this and that. And, I have to put a lot of effort into it. But what a lot of people run into, including myself, is you find yourself making hurdles for yourself,
Yeah.
making reasons. Oh, I go to work and I come home and I got to cook dinner. I got to get the kids. I got to do this. I got my son. When do I have time to go do this? And you know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't have the money to buy the drone. Or I don't have the money to do. So you set these hurdles for yourself and you make it harder and harder for yourself. But those are real things that you do have to contend with. You do have to make the time to go do whatever it is you want to do. You are making the time to go to school. You're convincing yourself, I've got to finish this. You're making the progress that you need to make your life better in the future. Right now, you may not be sure. Hey, this is definitely what I want to do,
That's only because
but
when I
you're
was
taking.
young, I noticed that everything that benefited me was a choice that I made that at the time I didn't want to make, and that inevitably I was going to end up fucking off, sitting around doing nothing anyway. So I might as well have made the decision and then had whatever the achievement was X amount of time later. So if I'm gonna
Right.
get a certificate in 3 months, right? And I go, well, I don't know if I want to sit on the computer for 3 months straight. But then I'll come home every day and go, all right, well, it's cool, but and then you sit on the fucking, and then it's like you look at it and you go, I want to spend time with my son. Right now, my son's in there playing on the game, doing his own thing, right? So this whole time,
Yep.
I could be sitting here doing nothing, or I could go to you and go, I enjoy this podcast. I enjoy doing this. Let's make the time to do it. Why not? Now, in this case,
Exactly.
it's not particularly for a
Exactly.
financial reason, but on multiple occasions,
Yeah.
with school, right? With school, it was like just that second of like, all right, I'll sign up for it. Like, you had to bridge that. Like, once you're signed up for it, it's like you're never gonna call me a quitter. I don't have that in me, but like it's getting past that hurdle of going like, oh, but what I got, oh, and then they need financial aid paperwork, oh man, and then I got, oh, and I got to, but like, it's really not much. 2 days goes by and you go, oh wow, those 16 hurdles I put in front of myself are all done. It's like,
Yeah.
not always that
Yeah.
it goes that easy, but it's
Yeah. I mean, and it's something as simple as, I don't know, cleaning up your house or doing laundry or
yes,
mowing the lawn or pulling weeds or
yes,
like literally anything. It's like, oh,
yep,
I got to pressure wash the driveway. Okay, so I guess I gotta go fill my gas can for my pressure washer, and then I gotta drag the pressure washer. I gotta hook it all up, and it's like, really, dude, everything that you're telling yourself you got to do this, you got to that, you can literally do it in 4.5 minutes. Like, what are you even talking about?
and
Just go
there's
do it.
there's something that I've preached to my son since he was born that I've tried to implement in my own life. It's earning your leisure, right? Like we can all find every
Nice,
reason to have leisure activities, and like it always feels good to kick back, right? Except for the times
right?
where you haven't truly earned it. Because if you can find yourself at a point in life where you're enjoying yourself but you haven't done anything in order to enjoy it,
Hmm.
it's different than when you've taken the time to do whatever it is that you needed to do, and then you get to kick back and go like, wow, I have this 3 hours literally free for the night because I've done
Yep.
everything that needed to get done, you know and you get
I
to
know
live
exactly what you mean.
rent free in your head because you're not sitting here going, oh well, tomorrow I guess I'll do the lawn since I didn't do it today, and
Yep.
so
Yeah, man. Yeah, a lot of people, like even myself, especially me, I get anxious when it's like, okay, I've got a bunch of stuff that I got to do, but you know what? Today's Saturday or whatever. I got plenty of time. I can do some tomorrow, and I'll do some today, and do a little bit today, and then I'll do the rest tomorrow. But it's like I could literally get everything done today in about 2 hours.
yep.
So why put off something for tomorrow that you can get done today? Type of thing. But I still put it off because I procrastinate,
And what if I have
and
a
I.
week free? What if I have a week free coming up, but I decide I'm not going to do these
Mhm.
3 things that need to get done. So now I spend 4 days of my week free worrying about this shit that I could have done day one and had a week of just non-mental. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Life is weird,
Yep.
man. Life is weird. We're coming up on the end here. The last thing we used to do is shout outs. Do you have any shout outs? Shout outs! Do you have anybody that you want to shout out? Anything you want to shout out? Anything within the last week that you want to shout out? Okay.
Not really.
I got a couple things I want to shout out. The waitress at Olive Garden last night. Um, she was looking cute, Mr. C. I'm just telling you. Yeah, shout out to the waitress. Shout out to my grandma, and shout out to my instructors, man. Shout out to Mr. D. Rest in peace. But anyway, shout out to you, Mr. C. Shout out to you, Mr. C, for joining the podcast. It's nice to have you. It's been it's been fun.
Good to be here, man. Good to be here.
Yes, sir. All right, thank you guys.